Hey YouTube. So if you saw my last video, I was telling you about how I came into possession of a 2008 Saturn Sky Redline carbon flash with only 54,000 miles on it. And I had said in that video that I would be doing some videos on some of the things that the vehicle needs for it to get into running and driving condition. And again, like I said in the last video, it does run, it does drive, it just needs some mechanical issues taken care of before it can be made reliable. So I'm going to start with the first video, and that is going to be just a simple battery replacement. According to that Carfax that I said I looked up, it looks like the battery was changed back in 2017. So with the battery being dead and it being so long since it's had a new battery, I figured I might as well just go ahead and replace it and get the car running again, and maybe hopefully getting that back cargo compartment opened up. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. So hope you enjoy the video. All right, well, if you are familiar with the Saturn Sky or Pontiac Solstice platform, then you are aware that the battery is situated right down here on the passenger side behind the fender. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of space here for you to remove the battery. So in order for you to swap out batteries, this fender needs to come off. So I've seen a couple videos already on YouTube. One of them was saying that depending on what model year you have, will depend on what screws need to come out. But from what I can see so far, it looks like there's this one, which looks like a 10 millimeter or a 7 millimeter. This one right here. There are the ones in the fender liner that need to come out. And then there are 2 or 3 up underneath in the bottom. And this one appears to have one way down in here. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. But it looks like it's, well, it's down in there. It's right there. So it looks like those need to come off before the fender can come out. And then we can work on getting the battery pulled out. Now the one that I was just showing you down inside between the door and the fender, it looks like the best way to access it is to just kind of get your ratchet down in there. It's kind of be a little tricky because I might have to partially close the door. I don't know. This is going to be a first for me. I have another Saturn Sky, but I haven't had to change the battery out on it yet. So we're going to do it on this one and see how that works. All right, so the fender is off. So just so everybody's aware, the 2 bolts up top were 7 millimeter. The ones on the bottom were 7 millimeter in the center and a 10 on each side, so a total of 3. The ones for the fender well were 7, and the one inside the door from the back side of the fender was a 10 millimeter. So this is kind of a good thing because I get an opportunity to try to clean what I can. And I did notice that there is a crack, unfortunately, but it's not horrible. It doesn't look like it made it to the back side, which is pretty good. So here's the back side, maybe a little bit, but it's nothing that I'm going to fret about because the replacement fenders are like $400 a piece, and then I'd have to get this thing painted, and hopefully I'll be able to find the paint code for it, being that they only made this for 1 year. So I'm just going to clean this up and put it back on the car the way it is. It doesn't do anything for the aesthetics of the vehicle. You can't see it unless you go up underneath. The driver's side one, from what I remember seeing, is 10 times worse. Although you can't see that one either. But anyways, that's the fender off. Let me take you around to what I am now working with. So here is what I've got now. So one of the videos that I watched said that the service manual tells you to remove this bar, and then that will allow you to remove the battery from here. And the person's video said that they don't like doing that, that they like to remove this panel right here. But they said that if you take this panel off, then it has to be adjusted when you put the fender back on, because then it won't line up completely with the door, and there's a possibility you can rub the door into the fender. And you know, he said that taking this piece off was easier than this because the mounting point is supposedly way back in there. But I'd rather leave this by itself if I can, to avoid any misalignment of the fender when it goes back on. So, but you can see this fender liner is shot. They used really big fender washers to kind of keep it pressed up against the fender. So this definitely needs to be replaced. I'm not even gonna really worry too much about this. And it looks like it's cracked on all of them because they didn't torque them properly. And this is just plastic, and you can see how brittle this is. So again, I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to get this battery changed out. I'll put the fender back on and align everything the best I can, and then get this thing fired back up. All right, so I got the old battery out. The battery hold down was sitting right here. It's a 13 millimeter. You take that out, and I did not have to take this off. I did not have to take this off. You just have to wiggle it a little bit. It's a, you know, it's a battery. It's a little heavy, but it's not crazy. It took me probably 5 seconds to get it out. So you don't need to take any of this off. You really don't. I don't know if it's going to be that easy putting it back in, but save yourself some trouble. Do not take this off, and do not take this off. Save yourself headaches later on down the road. Okay, so the battery is in, it's connected, there is power. I just tried opening up the trunk and it works great, so I will show you that later. I just want to show you that the battery's in, and then I'm going to put everything back on. It should just be the complete opposite of it coming off, so I'm not going to do a video on putting it back on if it's just the opposite. So let's get that back on, and then we'll see if it fires up. All right, well, just like that, everything is back on, lined up. And like I said before, you don't have to take those pieces off, that bar and that piece of metal. Just be careful, wiggle the battery in there, and you should be fine. I smashed my finger a little bit, but no big deal. But again, save yourself some trouble. This way you don't have to worry about aligning the fender. As you can see, the fender lines up perfectly. I've already closed the hood, so that lined up great. But so here, let's pop the trunk, and now we can look at the inside of the trunk so I can show you how clean this vehicle really is. So, and then we'll try to start it up. All right, so I took the top down so you can see it with the top down, and then also I just want to show you this. So these buttress protective films that are put on from the factory, they typically always brown and crack from the heat. They were like that on my other Saturn, and I removed those. I never did a video on that, so here's my opportunity to do one for this one. And that's just basically a heat gun with some Goo Gone. So let's go ahead and try to start this vehicle up. I don't want to keep it running too long just because of the timing issue, but let's fire it up. Idle's good. that tapping sound, that's that fuel. There we go. Yeah, now that I'm listening to it, I don't know if it's coming out on the video, but you can kind of hear a little bit of scraping going on in there. I really won't know until I get in there and check to see. But again, if the dealer told me that there was something wrong with it, then I'm probably just gonna bite the bullet and do the timing on it and make sure everything is good. Because again, with only 54,000 miles on this vehicle, do I really want to risk blowing the motor? I mean, these cars really aren't worth a lot of money as it is. So yeah, 54,105. So all right, well, there's the replacement of the battery. And again, if I come across something else I'm going to change out, I will do another how-to and just kind of keep everybody up to date on how this project is going. Thanks for watching.